아직 안 찍고 있어요.
그러니까 찍지 말라고. 빨리 안 들어가. 친구한테 있는데 물안 집어넣어. 찍지 말라고.
About to head across the street to the market. I'm going to be getting with Joe and Deanna, and we saw that there was still some dog meat being sold at the market across the street.
It's an animal world out there. Watch the World Animal Awareness Society channel and feel right at home. Come, sit, subscribe, and stay a while.
The truck carrying the dogs has arrived at the slaughterhouse. The police are on the way and they've asked us to get there as quickly as we can. So not really sure what we're gonna find, but we're racing to make sure that none of the dogs are harmed before we get there. 3 seconds away. Yeah. Turn right.
That's a truck. A little bit in the front.
Yeah. The dogs are all in Hessian sacks and their mouths bound. Looking very, very scared. And we've now brought the dogs to the police station where we're unloading them from the truck. They're getting emergency care from our brilliant vet team here. A lot of the dogs are in quite bad condition. They've obviously endured a horrendous experience being stolen from the streets and then trafficked on a journey that likely lasted for over 10 hours. But they're all things that with our expert veterinary team on hand, we're confident we can help them overcome. Well, so many of the dogs that came off the truck, and we see this often, were still wearing collars, a sign that they at some point were owned.
I think many people don't know that, particularly in Southeast Asia, that these are stolen pets. And I think we can all sympathize with that feeling of panic and grief and, anger and all of those feelings that you feel when you lose a pet, or when a pet goes missing. But for a pet owner in places like Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, you're frantically driving to every market, to places where you know that dogs and cats are being sold, slaughtered, trying to find your pet and buy it back, generally, before it gets trafficked. This is affecting not only animal welfare, it's affecting the love and the bond that people have with their animals. It's affecting public health because it undermines rabies control programs throughout the region, particularly in Southeast Asia. More than 98% of cases are mediated dog-related. And so we know that if we are trafficking unvaccinated, unquarantined dogs, that's a public health risk. Also a public health risk to the people that are catching, butchering, trading the dog. So a lot of people are at risk here.
And today we're here in Bogor in West Java at a temporary shelter that we've built to house and provide care for dogs rescued from an illegal dog meat trader yesterday in Sukoharjo. So at the moment, we're still preparing the shelter, building up the best facilities we can to make sure that the dogs get all of the care that they need. A lot of them are incredibly skinny and emaciated. So with lots of TLC and good food, hopefully they can overcome this trauma quickly with the right care, which we're committed to providing them with. She's still very, very afraid, and it takes time, but it's very sad to see. Let's see if I can go get her. And you know, while some dogs can bounce back quite quickly, you can kind of see the trauma in her, and I think she'll overcome it, but for now, she needs a lot of rest and care. And we have a chance to make up for all of the injustices that were done to her. Okay, my biggest hope for these animals is that they forget everything that they've been through. So my hope for them is that they forget it all and it becomes a bad dream and they can go on to live the lives they deserve, and that is what we're 100% committed to giving them. Dogs like these represent a wider campaign, and we're committed to ending the dog meat trade and industry globally so that no dog ever has to endure what they did.
The vast majority of local people are completely against this trade. I mean, in Indonesia, as an example, about 92% of people, according to our nationwide polls, are in support of a dog meat trade ban. Like, we have seen jurisdiction after jurisdiction, regency after city. Jakarta recently passed a dog meat ban. That's an important precedent for other areas to follow. And so I think, you know, we're going to get there. South Korea is our flagship campaign, and most people know us for that campaign. But we also do a lot of really great work in places where the dog meat trade is rife, like Vietnam, Indonesia, and we also work with partner groups in China as well.
The approach HSI is taking is not to blame the people working in the industry, but trying to work with them, trying to understand them and the consumers as well.
I hope that we're able to showcase the amazing work that our local colleagues are doing each and every day. And while our audience might only see like glimpses of our rescue, we want to promote our local work and campaign work.
This is our 10th dog meat farm closure in South Korea. And there are about 170 dogs on this farm that will be rescued and having a second chance at being the dogs they deserve to be. As you can see, there's puppies that are struggling along with all the dogs here in this terrible place they call home. If you follow me, I'll show you the mishmash of cages and varieties of dogs that you find on these farms. None of it makes any sense. 3 dogs together in a small cage, sometimes 2, sometimes 1. These are golden retrievers. You find every kind of dog on these farms. Everything from Chihuahuas to St. Bernards to golden retrievers. All sweet, just dogs in a terrible circumstance. As you can see, every kind of dog, despite their circumstances, you know, they're eager for human attention. Some cower in their cages. It's just a sad scenario. They're exposed to all the elements. They get just enough food to survive. They never receive any veterinary care. They just exist until one day when they're sent to slaughter. But these are the lucky ones. All 170 dogs will be removed from this farm and will be sent to homes in the UK, the United States, and Canada. And they will all have the second chance they deserve. Hi, sweeties. Hi, babies. Hello, sweethearts. it never astonishes us. I mean, it just never ceases to amaze us how these dogs have the resilience they do. Despite the lack of any human kindness, they are willing to trust. Willing to. As you can tell, it is cold on this farm. I'm all bundled up, but these dogs have nothing but metal bars to call home. They struggle every night just to get through. It goes down into the 20s at night. It's about, well, it's 30s today. It is a cold, cold place. As I mentioned, random dogs put together Afghan hound. I mean, a lot of these dogs we assume are former pets and just get dropped here. Many of the dogs here are bred on this farm solely for the purpose of meat, and that's their existence. As I mentioned, these are the lucky ones. All of you are going to happy places. You all are going to go to a happy place, a new home. You're going to know kindness. Yes, you are. Yeah, as you can see, it's almost a maze of Let me show you what they are meant to call their dinner every day. This disgusting slop. I can't even tell you what's in there, just a leftover human waste, food waste. It's just, they get whatever they get, and that's what they're meant to eat. Garbage everywhere, mishmash of stuff. There's, again, no rhyme or reason. Hi baby. Sweet, gentle creatures. Cages everywhere. There's a mama with her pups, more pups. It's just a struggle to get by. As I mentioned, every kind of dog you can imagine are on these farms. We've been able to save over 1,000 of them now. As I mentioned, this is our 10th dog meat farm closure. This dog meat farm will be closed permanently. All of the cages will be demolished. We will be ensuring that this property is never used again to raise dogs or any animals of any kind. We sign a contract with the farmer, we follow through with the farmer, we come to this location and we visit it. We also help the farmer transition to a new humane livelihood. You can see here my colleagues are putting together all of the crates that will be used in the transports over the next 2 to 3 weeks to transport all of the dogs. Every last dog on this farm will be sent to Canada, to the UK, and to the United States to find new homes and be adopted into loving families.
This beautiful girl is Portobello, and she's still a little bit nervous because today is probably the first day that she is having some gentle words and even more gentle touches. And bit by bit, getting a bit closer to her. And she is a dog on a dog meat farm, and all she has ever known is this cage and seeing dogs being taken away for the wrong reasons. But despite all of that, she's curious and she's so desperate to be touched, but still a little bit nervous. So we're just taking it super slow. She can smell the other dogs on me. This is a farm that we're closing, so she doesn't quite understand it yet. But for her, tomorrow, the dog meat industry ends. And I so wish we could tell her that and she could understand us, because tomorrow is going to be the best day of her life. And she doesn't know it, but we know it. And you can see already, despite everything, you look at where she lives, and somehow she's just stayed so gentle and curious.
She's very
very curious.
She is. You're a good girl. And we're getting little wags of the tail, moving very slowly to try not to scare her.
Audio's good, Tom. Cool.
So today we started the closure of this farm, and this beautiful girl is one of nearly 200 dogs. And she had a cage mate who was on today's flight. So we're just spending some extra time with her to reassure her, because she obviously doesn't understand where her friend's gone. And they'll have likely been born on this farm and spent their entire lives in this cage. So bit by bit, we can get a bit closer to her and see. And dogs like Portobello are like the most important ambassadors for our campaign, because they show everyone that no matter where a dog comes from, a dog is a dog is a dog. And this beautiful girl is just the same as the beautiful girls I have at home who sleep on my couch and who, like so many people, are cherished, favorite family members. And very soon that's exactly where she's going to be. And she's going to show everyone why the dog meat industry has to end for good. Yeah, so this is a very typical dog meat farm, you know, that we find throughout South Korea. And so dogs like these are mostly born on farms like this, and they're raised until they're taken by traders to be slaughtered. So the dogs survive these miserable conditions. I mean, if you look at the conditions that they're living in, and this is their reality, this is their entire world. And every single day they're in these cages. And then the only time they leave the cage, it's to be taken away to be slaughtered. And it's the reality that when you're with these dogs, you can never forget, you know, to survive all of this, just to be slaughtered is, it's just the saddest thing. And that's why it's always, you know, it's emotional coming to farms like this, because you just wish you could tell them what's happening and why it's happening, and that they need to trust you. But how can you expect them to trust you? But then you see dogs like her, she does. Somehow she still comes. She's curious, smelling a lot of the other dogs that are on this farm who are only a stone throw away, but she'll never have met. So she just has her little buddies in the cage next to. And you often find this on dog farms, the dogs talking to each other through the bars. And you can see this little guy next door watching something out the gap in the bars. And you just got to wonder what they make of it all. And their world is going to expand so beyond what you could ever imagine. I don't think it should either. I think if it becomes easy to come somewhere like this, then I don't think that you can keep coming back. It should hurt and it should feel sad, because this is what we're fighting and we're giving our everything towards ending. And dogs like her and all of these dogs deserve people who are going to come and fight for them as if they're fighting for their own. And that's what we're here to do. So no, it never gets easier. And I think it's, you know, when you kind of get up close to these dogs and you kind of see the trauma they've been through, and it's such deep trauma, but then they do have these glint in their eyes, and we see these dogs come through on the other side once they get out of these farms and they find their families, and it's the most rewarding moment ever when you see them living the lives that you promised them are coming. And we don't break our promises. No, we don't break our promises. No. So if we weren't here today to take these dogs off the farm, they'd either be picked up to be taken to a slaughterhouse, market or restaurant. And we know what that is, and you know, the animals are just treated with such utter disregard, and It's a very, very sad existence. Like I always think, the dogs sit there, you know, waiting to die and then fight to live at the last moment, and it's heart-wrenching to witness.
These dogs have lived their entire life on this dog meat farm in Korea, and you know, they live in really deplorable conditions. I mean, they're in terrible, tiny cages, just disgusting.
So we're shipping out all 57 of the dogs that are on the farm. So in this case, we've been talking to the farmer about helping him to rework the land, to build greenhouses and start growing crops. So this is really tough. It's been a long journey getting the dogs here, and for a while I didn't think we were going to make it, so seeing them go off means everything today. I don't know.
This is Ellie, and Ellie is one of the lucky dogs who have come to us today from Korea, from a dog meat farm. Hi, sweetie. We're just so thrilled to be picking her up here today. All of the dogs initially are going to San Francisco SPCA, who has graciously agreed to host them. They've set up fantastic spots for them. And then from there are a number of partners in the Bay Area who will be coming to pick them up and get them really ready and to get adopted into their homes. Ellie is really a representative for dogs that, you know, still are in the dog meat trade in Korea, and Korea is the only country that farms dogs for the dog meat trade. I'm so happy that Ellie is here now and that she is going to have the life she deserves and not be food. And Humane Society International is working so hard to end this horrible trade. They don't know how lucky they are, really. This dog meat farm is very different from many we've seen. This farm is essentially in a sort of shack, shed-type structure where the dogs are completely hidden from view. They have no access to sunlight, very little fresh air, and their cages are through these warrens of hallways. The smell is really overwhelming in here. Very strong ammonia smell. Your eyes burn, your nose burns, and it's just because there is very little fresh air gets in there, and these dogs have to live in this smell their entire lives. Hey, sweetheart. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, baby. You can see how terribly, terribly mad he is. In desperate need of attention.
We saw that there was still some dog meat being sold at the market across the street, right here in the Times Square area.
알아차린 거예요.
알아차린 뭐라고 저 바깥에 있는데 여기다 대고 찍는 거야.
아니 그러니까 처음에는 안 그랬다니까요.
뭐라 그러노? 대기 말려야지.
아니 근데 이제 이분은 이미 작년부터 이게 불법으로
왜 그래?
있었기 때문에
우리는 아마 안 걸려. 앞으로 2년 6개월만 하면
예,
못 돼.
그러니까 알았어.
그러니까.
그러니까 이제 저는 그걸 알고 있는데 이분은 거기까지 몰랐잖아요. 그러니까
그거
이제
설명을 해줘요.
찍는 거 봐 이거요.
제가 이제 설명을 할 거예요. 근데
아이 데리고 가요. 뭘 설명을 거 아버지고 해.
They're selling dog
이제
meat.
제가 이분은 이제 개도 기간 그런 것까지는 몰라요. 그냥 이제
모르니까 찍고 가라고.
해외에서 보더라도 한국에서는 이제 뭐 불법을 했다니까는 그 이제 그럼
그러니까 아저씨가 설명을 해서 데리고 가면 되지. 뭘 여기 왔는데 에이 이렇게 찍어.
어떻게 다 찍고
Hello.
아저씨가 더 나쁜 사람.
영업하는데 이러면 안 되지. 아무리 그래도 왜 그러지? 그 사람이 그러면 안 된다고.
외국인을
안민서 그렇게 하면 안 되지요.
데리고 다니면서 이래저래 막
당사인데 여기다 먹고 살아야 돼. 알아요?
예, 저
그런 식으로 하지 말고 그래 가라니까요. 또.
그러니까 그런 거를 예를 들어서 저도 이제 모르는 상태에서 그게 이루어졌단 말이에요.
그러면
그러니까
우리가
가라니까,
설명을 했으니까
가라니까,
아저씨가
그러니까.
데려가야지.
가요,
아저씨가
가요,
더 나쁜 사람이야.
가요.
실실 웃어가면서
뭐 하는 거예요,
그러니까
그?
어머니가 그렇게 하니까 더 문제가 되는 거예요.
뭐가 문제가 돼? 우리가 문제가 뭐
지금
있어?
화를 내잖아요.
나라에서 다 그만큼 하라 그래서 하는 건데.
아니, 그러니까 개도 기간이면 그 개도 기간 이런 거 신경 안 쓰고 그냥 하시면 되는데
아 왜 신경을 쓰게 해?
데리고 가요.
아주 못해서
뭐
모르고
그렇게
앉아있구만.
어머니가 그렇게 하니까 저도 가만히 있는 거예요.
가만히 있으면
장사
뭐가
방해 하지
가만히
말고 그래
있어.
가라니까 그래. 에이 참. 왜 그래요? 그.
They're selling dog meat. It's illegal.
가요 아저씨 내버려둬.
It's illegal.
I told her.
남의 물건을 왜 손대?
They're selling dog meat.
We should not touch any.
남의 물건을 왜 손대게 해?
So they're selling dog meat here at the market. Dog meat's been here illegal for months now, but they're still wanting to sell it. Grandfathered in.
Yeah, it's a grace period. We call it the grace period. You know that what it is, right?
Yes.
It's not. I knew about the grace period, but they didn't know. Also, you should not react it in that way. At first, when we
Me?
here, we.
Oh.
You, the grandmommies. Grandmommies
Oh, yeah.
should not have reacted that way. At first, we just passed by.
Yeah.
Because, and then so she said, "You are the bastard."
Oh, for bringing us.
No, yeah.
Oh, I knew why they were getting after you, because you're the guy who should know better.
Yeah, I understand that they want to bring a person whom they can blame on easily.
Yeah.
Whom
Yeah.
they can easily communicate, blame on, or some attack.
We got them just in time. They're about to close.
It's an animal world out there. Watch the World Animal Awareness Society channel and feel right at home. Come, sit, subscribe, and stay a while.